President Trump recently declared an opioid crisis in our nation. We know the drugs can lead to deaths and overdoses, but what other complications can arise? SNN's Hallie Pilot has the details.
It's a really bad idea to use heroin. It's a much worse idea to use heroin in such a way that you can get addicted to it, but it is by far the worst idea to die from being someone who used heroin.
Deaths and overdoses from heroin, just a small part of the big picture.
But we also have the deaths that are connected to it. And HIV, as you mentioned, probably one of the most poignant.
Florida is the #1 state for new cases of HIV and AIDS transmission.
It's time to have a dialogue about what we're going to do about this.
The main catalyst to the problem, needle sharing.
One of the things that we consistently are asking is, are you sharing needles?
He said about 50% of the time, that answer is yes.
Once in a while we'll hear someone that might have picked up a needle in a park.
Not making sure that a needle that they're going to use to get high is safe.
Piper said we now need to look at harm reduction.
One way you stay alive is you do things like needle exchange programs.
But these programs are controversial.
It's been a fight almost for the last 5 years to get this program approved through the state legislature.
The Florida legislature didn't want a needle exchange program to be funded through public dollars.
Because to them, they felt that it was promoting the use of drugs.
But do you want them to get AIDS just because they chose to do heroin?
Piper said these programs don't promote the use of drugs.
They make sense in that at least you don't spread those diseases further.
Because addicts are going to do the drugs, whether they have clean needles or not.
Individuals that have addiction, they're going to find a way to do and continue their addiction.
And no one knows better than Johnny Calloway.
Well, I was a drug addict for 20 years.
He couldn't afford opioids, so he made his own drugs.
I don't know why I never shared a needle, I just wouldn't do it.
But he had a lot of friends who did.
Had a lot of friends die to the needles and swapped them and ended up with HIV, and some of them ended up with Hep C.
Something he couldn't really process at that time.
You have a way of being so focused on getting more drugs that you kind of detach yourself from the pain of loss.
They're in the underworld of our society. They're running to get their drug. They're trying to stay high.
Calloway is grateful to be alive, but others aren't always as lucky.
I have no idea why I'm still here, because with what I was doing, I shouldn't be.
I love my clients. Yeah, let's keep them healthy. Let's save their lives.
In Sarasota, Hallie Pilot, SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
Tomorrow, our Code Black coverage continues with a look at how young people are using the dark web to obtain these opioids.